This is a small introduction about milestones. The idea of milestones is to break down the overwhelming task of preparing for CAT into small set of milestones that you cover every week. So you don't have to worry about the big picture of how am I going to cover the whole thing for CAT, because we're going to break it down every week and give it to you. So your target is to make sure that you close all the rings every week. Well, let me explain what is closing all the rings. So you see certain rings here. If I go over these, I'm able to see that my progress for quant is 0%, progress for DI is 0%, progress for verbal is also 0%. Now, as and when you finish a task, you can come and mark the task completed here. So these are certain tasks that I've got today. Now there are two kinds of tasks that you will get. One is daily tasks, which have to be completed on a daily basis. And there are certain tasks which can be spread over the entire week. And whatever tasks are there for the day, you'll be able to see them under today's tasks. And if I go inside VARC, there are only daily tasks in VARC for this week. And if I go inside DILR, there are weekly tasks for DILR. Now these tasks have to be completed within the week. And the week is Feb 24th to March 1st. Similarly, you will find tasks under QA. Now let's come into VARC or even today's tasks. So let's say you have done this. Now you can click on this whenever you find this icon near the task name to go to the relevant page. So in this case, vocabulary 10 words. So if I click on that, it opens a page which is basically the same page, because it says learn 10 words with meanings and uses from the daily word list, and you have daily word list right here. So you can click on that and start learning these words with advanced and simple usages. And once you are done, you can come here and mark this complete. Now watch this while I mark this complete. So you could see I have moved my ring. So there is a 4% progress in VARC right now. And then you have the current affairs article. So you can click on this and it says read at least one of the current affairs article from daily reading list, which is again here. So if I'm going to click on this, it's going to redirect me to the same page. So you can read one of these two articles. And if you have done that, you can mark this complete and you will see my ring is closing slowly. Article from varied topic. Read one article from one of the following sources, Al Daily or 3 Quarks Daily. So you can click on one of these links and go to the websites, or you can even click on this and go to one of those websites. And you could read one of these articles. So let's say I want to get into essay and opinions. You can go inside this. And you can read this article. It's a pretty long article generally when it is these kind of articles which you read outside. And there is also a average time that is required given here. Now this might vary from person to person and from article to article, but this is to give you an idea of how much time approximately it will take. So this kind of reading might take approximately 15 minutes, and you also have some points for each of this, 20, 20 and 28. Now these points will help us to form a leaderboard to keep you guys motivated. Let's say I'm done with this as well. I can mark this as completed. Well, I have moved my ring for VARC by 14% today. You got to keep in mind that these 3 tasks can only be marked completed today because they are the tasks assigned for today. Tomorrow you might find again these 3 tasks coming, but they are new versions of the same task. So even if I have marked them as completed today, tomorrow you will see they are still asking you to complete again. So that day's task can only be completed on that day. You won't be able to go back to yesterday's task and mark it completed. That's the whole idea of daily task. And let's come into DILR. So here you can see DA level 1 mixed bag 1, attempt this test and go through the video discussion of the test. So if I click on this, it takes me to the page where the test is, and it is given that the test is DA level 1 mixed bag 1. So I am inside DA level 1. So mixed bag 1 is what I'm supposed to attempt. So you can click on start, attempt the test. I'm just going to randomly attempt a few questions. Okay, let's submit it. Okay, once you finish the test, you'll be able to see the review of the test where you will see a video explanation below each question. So you could press this button to navigate. You can also use your keyboard left and right arrows to navigate. I'm pressing my keyboard arrows right now to navigate between the questions. And you can also look at how your percentile is by clicking on this. If enough people have not taken the test yet, you will see that your percentile is not available and your score related data will be available here. And the time spent analysis will be available here. How many questions you got wrong and how much time you spent on each questions. These are unattempted questions and so on. And you can also click on this to see the leaderboard as to who has got the maximum mark and how long they took to solve this test. And next time you can just click on the videos and come directly to the video part. Okay, let's get back. And now I have finished this. So once you have finished this, let's say I've just gone through the test, but I have not gone through the video discussion. So probably you can mark this task as 50% complete. So these kind of weekly tasks, you will see that they have a range of completion possible. So this would be 25%, 50%, 75% and 100%. So as I have not seen the discussion yet, I'm just going to mark it as 50% complete. And you will see that my DILR ring will move when I mark it as 50% complete. So let me mark it as 50% complete. Well, my DILR ring has moved a little. Now let's say I mark it as 100% complete and then I realize no, I haven't completed it at all. I have just marked it by mistake. You can click on this once again to reset it to 0%. So that's how you reset your progress to 0% if you have to reset it. Okay, let me mark it as 50% complete. Similarly, you can do for QA as well. So when it comes to QA, let's see what are the tasks we have here. So concepts, ratio, proportion, variation. So go through the concept videos and make one-page notes. Now this is important. A lot of students have wasted a lot of time trying to write detailed notes for like 5, 6, 7 pages for very small chapters. So we have intentionally given that it is a one-page notes just to tell you that don't go into too much detail. Just write down things which are absolutely important for you to recollect sometime in the future. So make sure your notes don't cross the page limit that is given here. That is just for you to revise quickly in the future so that you don't have to go through the entire recording once again. Don't overdo this notes taking process, that might waste your time. Okay, so let's click on this. Let's see where it takes. Well, it takes us directly to the concept page of ratio, proportion, variation. And I'm sure you are familiar with this. There are a set of concepts here. You can go through them one by one. And once you're done with that, you can come back and let's say I've done only half the concept. So you can mark this as 50% complete. And what's the next task? Level 1 exercise RPV. Solve level 1 questions from Quantum Cat. Well, that's the book that we are recommending for external practice. So if you're following Arun Sharma, you could still follow this task, but I would strongly suggest that you follow Quantum Cat, because we look at the number of questions that are there in Quantum Cat and accordingly give the approximate time that would take. So there are 60 questions here. We have given that it will take 360 minutes, which is basically 6 hours. Some of you might be able to solve it in much lesser than 6 hours. Some of you might take more than 6 hours. We have just thought about a slightly below average student and given this timing. So if you're taking more than this time, it's absolutely okay. You just have to spend that extra time initially to get used to the chapter. But it is also possible that you can complete this well before this time. So don't worry about this. This is just to give you an approximate idea of how long you should invest to get this completed. And you can see it has got a huge point as well. Let's say I have done half the questions or 3/4 of the questions, I can mark it as 75% complete. So my task by the end of the week is to make sure that all 3 rings are fully closed. So keep closing your rings every week. You'll automatically be ready to score a very good percentile in CAT.